Hello, and welcome back to Mr. B Teaches History. Today we'll examine the shortcomings each side had at the start of the Civil War. Remember, the North, or Union, refers to the United States of America, led by President Abraham Lincoln, and they are fighting to restore the Union and eventually free the slaves. The South, or Confederacy, refers to the Confederate States of America, led by President Jefferson Davis, and they are fighting to maintain control over their cultural institutions of slavery. So let's get started. The Southern economy was based on the growing and exporting of cash crops to the North to feed their manufacturing machines. Also, much of their cash crops were exported overseas to Great Britain to feed their textile industry. With the war starting, the Southern economy lost most of their customers. On top of that, many nations of Europe secured other sources of cotton before the war began so that an interruption of imports would not affect their bottom line. Also, many slaves were unwilling or unable to be committed to the service of the military, so their largest source of economic labor was constrained. This, with fewer factories, people, and farms for food, it made the South economically disadvantaged during the war. The North had few leaders willing and able to fight the war the way President Lincoln wanted it done. Lincoln hired, fired, rehired, and fired again the same general, George B. McClellan, when he failed to capture and defeat Robert E. Lee multiple times. Outside of the leadership of Ulysses S. Grant and William Tecumseh Sherman, the North saw limited success on the battlefield. The connection of the South to slavery made it hard for many European nations, especially Great Britain, to support the political leaders of the South, since they had already abolished slavery and devoted much effort to end the slave trade on the Atlantic Ocean. In fact, many nations worried about even acknowledging the Confederates' ambassadors because it would give the implied approval that they wanted to give it to them. So their political leadership had some problems that they could not successfully deal with as a nation. The North was disadvantaged in the area of geography because they are fighting on unfamiliar ground. Also, because they are fighting in the South, their supply lines were longer than their opponents. And since the South had fewer railroads, it meant they could not take advantage of them as they moved into unfamiliar territory. The South also had less command of the seas since they had no formalized navy, but many of the trade ships were armed and were faster against their Union naval counterparts. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or clarifications you would like to make about this lecture, please leave a comment below. If you learned something new, please consider leaving a like. If you would like to receive notifications of more content like this, please consider subscribing and ringing the notification bell. If you would like to support this channel and creator financially, please check out the links in the description for merchandise or sites that will provide me direct financial support for the work of this channel. Thank you for your time and have a great day. Class dismissed.